the Agile brand.
Welcome to Season 2 of the Innovation Economy podcast, where we look at what it's like to build businesses, work, and live in an innovative place, and the role of location in a hyper-connected hybrid work world. The Innovation Economy podcast series is brought to you by Arlington Economic Development, representing Arlington, Virginia, one of the most dynamic economic hubs in America, with resources for businesses from the Fortune 500 to startups and everything in between. You can learn more about them at www.arlingtoneconomicdevelopment.com. That's www.arlingtoneconomicdevelopment.com. To listen to the latest episodes or sign up for the Innovation Economy newsletter, go to innovationeconomy.show or click follow on your favorite podcast app. And now on to the show.
Public support of small business is never a singular effort. And while local governments strive to keep businesses of all sizes thriving, it takes a team to rise the tide. I'm Susan Sirocco, Director of Creative Economy at Arlington Economic Development in Arlington, Virginia. The role of economic development is to retain and attract businesses where workers can thrive and live in a great community, even when the work world is changing. We support small businesses through programs like Biz Launch and value the importance of placemaking and a sector devoted to creative economy and the arts. Today, we're going to talk about what it takes to manage public support of small business in Arlington. And to help me discuss this, I'd like to welcome Tara Palacios, Director of Biz Launch in Arlington Economic Development. Tara, welcome to the show.
Hi, Susan. One of my favorite people. Thank you for having me.
Well, it's great to have you this morning. Thank you. So, Biz Launch has built an infrastructure and a reputation for small business support that really has no regional rivals. So let's start with your background and what led to creating Biz Launch Division in Economic Development.
Well, Susan, it's a long tale that happened 25 years ago. But what we did was I was working in economic development and had so much joy being in the space because working with businesses so they understand all the policies, the regulations, the things that they need to do in order to get started. And what we were finding, those many years ago, was that the small business owner typically struggled with understanding everything and running the business. I had a lot of people that would come and rightfully so be very upset because their dream was crashing and burning around them. And so we started Biz Launch with the mindset of being able to have tools and resources, everything at the fingertips of the aspiring entrepreneur or small business owner, so that they were aware of policies, of things that they needed to do and know about so that they were successful from day one. I think in the United States, it's very easy to start a business, but nobody tells you of all the concerns and things that you have to be aware of as an entrepreneur to be successful. And it really, the onus lies on the business owner. So for us as local government to be able to provide tools to our community of small businesses that help support our communities, it's been a real honor and a real pleasure to be in this space and to be there with businesses as they first start, they grow, they expand, they go off, they multiply, they do well, and they contribute back to our amazing community of Arlington, Virginia.
Wow. Well, you've had a lot of different professional experiences, which kind of gives you a good bird's eye view of how entrepreneurs thrive or fail. And interestingly enough, I think there are so many people who come to Biz Launch thinking that the best tools and resources are going to be financial. They often are thinking that that's the silver lining. Right. But what are some of the other things that entrepreneurs don't pay enough attention to?
That's an excellent question. I think that as an entrepreneur, you have passion around a particular idea, product, service that you want to bring out, right? And many times you're so passionate about that you may miss signs of whether there's an actual market. And sometimes a business owner may jump on a particular trend. And things that are trendy are the ones that make me the most concerned, because 5 years from now, are people still going to want a la boo boo, right? You think about it, like it's the hottest commodity at the moment is to have a la boo boo. But 5 years from now, is that sustainable over the long time, right? You've got to be having a pipeline of potential assets that people will want to buy from you, or be in an industry or have professional services where you're going to have people that are constantly going to want to buy. And I think people, sometimes entrepreneurs, thinking about the moment in time rather than the long picture. And I think the vision has to really be long term versus short term, because the long term helps you to identify all the things that you need to do so that you can get there, right? And any kind of, I think also entrepreneurs need to be fully self-actualized. All those weak points that you have, you must embrace them and you must love them, because if you don't, that is also a big red flag or a weakness, right? Because if I'm in business and I don't know the first thing about how to balance a checkbook, I'm going to be in trouble as an entrepreneur, right? So I need to hire someone, or I actually need to educate myself. I'd actually err towards educating myself so that I understand what a balance sheet looks like, a pro forma looks like. Because at the end of the day, my business, I can't blame my boss anymore, because my boss is myself, right? And if I'm not fully honest with myself about my strengths and weaknesses, that is a pitfall. And we see it all the time. And I think that if anything, I would tell someone, as you go into this journey or as a business owner, be humble, understand your strengths and weaknesses, so that when something happens, whether it's an opportunity, whether it's a challenge or something's going on, you can amass the right team to help you continue on your journey of success.
So the moral to that story is, even if you're a top 10 tennis player, don't spend all your time putting rhinestones on a labubu, because it won't necessarily help you win.
Not long term, yes. Short term, it's all the rage.
Thank you for that example. So, small businesses can sometimes experience a lot of the same waves of upheaval and success as big businesses, and sometimes they just get there faster on one side of that scale or another. But
yes.
So what are some of the ways Biz Launch positions small businesses as the big drivers of economic development that they actually are?
So I think for that one, small businesses have a lot of strengths, and they're very integral, particularly from an economic development perspective, right? So a very healthy community is one that has healthy small, mid, and large size companies. We need everybody lifting the boat so that our community can be successful, right? And so what you want to have for these small businesses is also an understanding of what's going on in their direct community, so that they can plan and they can be robust and competitive. One of the things I would say is monitor your competition. Ensure that you have competition. I always hear from people, they're so gleeful. I don't got no competition, so I'm going to enter in this market and I'm going to do well. Well, that's a red flag for me when you tell me you don't have competition, because why? Why is no one else in the space? Is it costing them too much? Is there not enough target market. There's not enough people. There's a reason why. And you want to avoid that at all costs. What you want to do as a new entrepreneur or as an existing business is be in a robust space. You want to take a percentage of a share. It's easier to take a percentage of a share than to recreate a market. Recreating a market, I don't even know if Bill Gates has enough money to do that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like being able to position yourself in a way where you're nimble, where you're following along with your industry, where you're understanding how your clients are accessing information, how they're making purchasing decisions. You have to be light years ahead to be able to compete in this current environment. You can't put your head down into the sand and hope that any kind of economic upheaval is just going to wash over you. You have to be there. And I think as economic development professionals, we have to have tools where we're meeting the clients where they are to be able to provide them with this access to the information, the ability of them to work with trusted partners so that they can look and analyze the situation and make the right decisions for them, their staff, their team, and their business. Because when you don't have access to the proper information, the statistics, the business development, you may make a decision in the short term that doesn't make sense in the long term. And so having all of this out there, and resources and plugging them in, not all resources are equal, and so I say try something out. If you're going to a maker's market, try out that market. The worst thing could happen, say you don't have any customers or clients, maybe it was an off time, let me try it one more time, right? And you test your market and see how the demand works. Don't get stuck there if it doesn't make sense. Pivot, do what you need to do, but constantly being in front of issues or challenges that may be happening.
Some of the most important resources that Biz Launch has developed is a very diverse team of staff who can bring a lot of different abilities to make networks, make connections for these small businesses, which are just as important to the trajectory of the success of the business. And beyond
100%.
that, the Biz Launch has really cultivated cross-divisional collaborations, which is clearly a big priority for economic development. What are some of the ways that you've done that?
That's an excellent question. To address the diversity first of our team, diversity in backgrounds, ethnicity, age, gender, everything, I think helps us because we all have different thoughts and we're coming from different places. It really strengthens the team so that we're able to cover the community that we serve. I think utmost that is important. I also think that in these days and times, it's extremely important to be a trusted player in the region and in our community. Do what you say you're going to do. Have passion around helping others. That's what we do in public service. Be steadfast in the work. If there is someone in the community that's helping GovTech companies, that's working in space, that's doing all of these amazing things, and you believe that your business owners can connect with it, you connect with these agencies early on, and you have conversations to see, does this organization align with mine? Do they have the same mission, vision, leadership, and understanding of the business community that we have? And if so, how can we work together? How can I be the peanut butter to your chocolate? How can we do good in this space in helping entrepreneurs? Because at the end of the day, the reality is money is green. If we lift everybody up, we make more green. And so I think as an economic development professional and someone that's in this space, it is imperative of us to help lift up our communities, because we're lifting up all of us.
Right.
We all rise. And I think that as we're looking at programming and as we're looking at partners and collaborating, you want to be with groups that have that passion, that have that understanding, and want to help others. Because at the end of the day, we lift up ourselves, we lift up everybody. And it's a beautiful thing to see.
You've practically answered the next question, which is, well, because you have been so purposeful to go way outside Arlington's 26.2 square miles to build these extensive relationships with organizations like CivStart and InterAstra and WakeIF. So it's not much of a stretch to say you've practically gone to the moon.
I love it.
So give a little insight on why you've picked these organizations to really work with and why they're really important to both Biz Launch and the small business community.
I think the one thing that I've learned in my years in economic development, that it's so important to build relationships, and not just, I think, and not to disparage others, but I think many times work we do in this space is very transactional. But I think it's more than that. I think if you build relationships with organizations that have a like-minded vision, mission, core leadership, that what you're doing is, it's not just on the surface to check a box to say, I've met with this many people. In Biz Launch, I stopped counting once we hit 100,000 people coming to our workshops or one-on-one technical assistance. I just stopped counting, because after a while, the numbers are relevant. It's about the impact. So when I go to do a collaboration or a partnership, before I say yes, I go deeper than Google, right? I look at the agency, I see what they stand for. I look at their social media. I look at their LinkedIn, their Instagram. I look at the different platforms that they're on, and not just the first year or this past week, but I go deep to see, well, what does this organization do? I look at articles that have been written about these folks, the clients that they serve, the passion that they have for the work that they do. And then I go beyond that, and that before I say yes, I want to go to an event that you've put on. I want to talk to your clients. I want to do a webinar. And I see if the things that you say that you're doing equate to the actual actions that you take, right? What type of impact have you made in the community? Where are you on the pendulum of helping others? And the people that you hire, what are their backgrounds, right? Because this is all about, when you collaborate with someone, you're coming together for a joint purpose. And to me, the business of space is just amazing. Doing the work that we've been doing with InterAstra and building it so that its space is attainable for everyone, no matter what your background. It's just not for affluent people or people of a certain color. It's for all of us. It's the next frontier, like they say. I'm a big Star Trek fan. It's the next frontier, right? And so how do we, as economic development professionals, how do we build that with trusted partners that can help that to happen? And who better than the Bolden Group, Charlie Bolden, former NASA astronaut, and his son Che and his whole family, who feel that this is important to do. This work is beyond. It's the future, And so we need to learn and understand that from the public sector. And how do we bring these opportunities to our businesses that are in this space? So it's a very deliberate, like when I form partnerships, and I check to see, is this really something that has legs and that'll move forward and that will happen? And I think being deliberate, and when you're kind and you are filled with grace, people want to partner up with you. I think you get more with honey and sugar than you do with vinegar. And that's just a motto that I have, no matter who we partner or collaborate. And if it doesn't work, because sometimes people don't talk about if it doesn't work. So if it doesn't work, that's okay. I enjoyed our time together. this is maybe our last interaction. Thank you for your service. Thank you for, collaborating with me, and then move on if it doesn't make sense. Because I think sometimes the hard conversation is, as a business owner or as someone in the space that's doing technical assistance, sometimes people don't discuss or talk about, what if it goes sideways? What do I do?
You've had an amazing ability to really look to the future, so to speak, expanding the industry sectors that are really influential and important to small businesses. But you've also been really a forefront leader in developing programs to assist federal workers in this past year. So in a very timely way. So Biz Launch jumped right in to work with universities, workforce development agencies, and the Arlington Leadership Center to highlight all the resources available through AED. This is both in the moment and really important. What have you taken away from those efforts? Because that really speaks to the way that you connect with the bigger community.
I think the firsthand experience when COVID first hit, and when I looked back, because I hadn't realized this, but I've been with the county for 25 years, and there has been challenges every year, and I didn't realize it, like something unexpected happening, and we've had to quickly pivot and do. And I think what I would like to say to everyone is to be present and to look at signs of things going on or percolating in your communities, so that you are aware of potentialities of an activity that could potentially harm your community, whether it's man-made, whether it's nature, whatever, and be prepared to quickly form a team or a committee or a group of people that can directly respond to that activity with tools and resources based on the needs of those clients, right? So we first, with the impact of the federal workers losing their, workforce. There's a tremendous workforce dearth that happened, and hearing from your trusted partners, being able to set up programs right away. So when my trusted partner came to me and said, hey, look, this could potentially be happening, and I believe it's going to impact Arlington, because Arlington has a lot of federal workers. And the thought was, well, we need to educate everybody. If they need to start a business, this is what they need to do. But they're coming from specific areas of expertise. And I think many people don't consider themselves as entrepreneurial, but the work that you do for government is transferable, and you're in a particular role that no one else has. And so if you take that skill set and then build, where's my audience? Where's my target market? How can I make money on this thing? And then business plan, look it out, do a lean startup model, do something, lean canvas model, do something that then helps them to mitigate, so that they're off and running and they're their own entrepreneur. Now, it's not for everybody, let's be completely clear. But if I'm giving you the roadmap of what you need to do, you do your homework, and it makes sense, then this could be the natural next step. That even though there was a challenge, you've lost your job, I presented you with a roadmap. You decide whether or not this is for you. You map it out. You minimize risk by putting facts into it. You have key skills that you can offer in a space that not a lot of people have your particular expertise in, and you go off and you run and you do it. And I think that being able to have trusted partners and being able to quickly put up quality educational events and to have personalized, curated technical assistance for you, priceless. That's priceless. And I think what we do as government and what we can do in local government that's different on the federal side is we know our community. We know what the community's needs are, And instead of like it national, we don't have to hit every state. We just hit our 26 point whatever square miles and we just run it, and we do it based on the needs. I don't do it based on Tara's needs. I do it based on the needs of my community. And I know my community inside out. And so I can quickly be able to provide quality services for them so that they can make decisions for their family and for themselves.
Who knew you would be a first responder on top of all of the other experiences that you
25 years of activities have equated to this.
I think that you have touched on so many things that are opportunistic, whether they are in the moment or looking to the future.
Yes.
And I want to give you a moment to talk a little bit now about a fairly new program that Biz Launch is hosting and supporting, which is the annual Art Walk. I mean, we have to look for some fun along the way with
joy.
With the way that businesses are coming together and supporting this creative sector. So right now, the annual Art Walk is between Marymount's Cody Gallery in Ballston to Northside Social in Clarendon and beyond. It's a self-guided walking tour that's coming up on October 4th. But talk about some of the ways Biz Launch has fostered this placemaking approach to creating a unique and vibrant corridor.
Oh my gosh, yes. So one of the things I have to say is I'm serving as a board chair of an organization this year, and I was asked what was going to be my wish for the year. And my wish with everything is to have fun and spread joy. And I think when we do programs and initiatives like the Art Walk 2025, that this is a way that we can support our creatives in our very own community that are bringing joy to others through art, right? And it allows for people that live in Arlington or passing through or visiting Arlington can get a deeper understanding of the art that's special here, right? It's in Ballston. Now, I participated the last couple of years. I've done the Art Walk, and I have to say, it's opened my eyes to the work that our partner Mocha does, right? It's opened my eyes to what GMU's Arlington campus has and offers. And even our local studios, what they're doing. It's just broadened, like who knew all of this was here? And on top of that, to be able to go and meet with artisans that are actually selling their works and to get to know them better is priceless. So I think when you are deliberate in creating programming that highlights, whether it's the arts, whether it's, celebrating our culture with Hispanic Heritage Month, with Indigenous Peoples Day, like whatever it is that we're doing, and being able to showcase the leaders that are in that space and spreading joy through art, especially when there are challenging times, it's priceless. I think that's what we do in economic development. We try to create a sense of place. So when people come here, I think our community, we want people to feel safe.
Mm-hmm.
We want to have people to feel like they're expanding their horizons, that they're getting inspiration by the art and by what they see. And what better way is it to walk around the community and to see things through a different lens than what you started the day with,
I think that's the perfect message to say for businesses that are thinking of moving to Arlington or even staying in Arlington. So
yes.
I think
100%.
that we may need a new tagline.
I can help you with that.
Oh, Tara, I want to thank you. It's been such a pleasure talking to you and having you as our guest today. If you have any parting words or any last mentions, we will be putting some additional information about Biz Launch and Tara in the show notes. But tell us anything that you want to leave our guests with.
Yes. I would want to say that in these days and times when there's a lot of uncertainty, and I just think that in this year we have uncertainty, is to look for the things that bring joy, that give you passion, and have a sense of hope and purpose. Because if you can have that vision every day, there's nothing that you can't accomplish. And I live by that creed. I have some amazing people that I work with, including Susan. And just the joy of being in this space to work towards a common cause to help others is the reason I do what I do. And I think that if you're looking to start a business, if you're an artisan or whomever you might be, reach out to us and our team. It's a safe space. We will help you to live your dreams of entrepreneurship, and we will help make our community a beautiful place to be in.
Thank you so much, Tara. It's really been a delight to have you as a guest today.
I am honored to be here with you, Susan.
Thanks again for listening to the Innovation Economy podcast, brought to you by Arlington Economic Development. If you enjoyed the show, please take a minute to subscribe on your podcast channel of choice and leave us a rating so that others can find the show more easily. You can access more episodes at innovationeconomy.show or on your podcast platform of choice. The Innovation Economy is produced by Missing Link, a Latina-owned, strategy-driven, creatively fueled production co-op. From ideation to creation, they craft human connections through intelligent, engaging, and informative content. Until next time, let's keep innovating.
The Agile brand.